Welcome back to Your Health Moment. As you know, I'm your host, Dr. Fitness, and I'm super excited today because we have an amazing guest. A lot of people hear me complain on a regular basis that we lose incredibly good wellness and fitness professionals to the financial industry. For some reason, the financial industry really puts effort into recruiting people that are fitness professionals, personal trainers, and year after year, and I'm talking from the last 10 years, I've seen the outflow of really talented trainers and fitness coaches to the financial industry. And today, I finally get to meet someone, Miss Kelly Majdan, who is moving from the financial industry into wellness. Now, seriously, it's unheard of. I have not heard it before. So I'm excited to start diving in and asking some really exciting questions to Kelly. And I know you're just as interested in hearing from Kelly as I am. So we're going to jump right in. Kelly, could you introduce yourself really quickly?
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Max. Well, that's kind of interesting because I'd never heard that before, honestly. But I can see it because in the financial industry, you always need people who are able to sell and communicate and work because it's a relationship industry. And most people in the health industry would do that. So that's interesting though. I never heard that before. A little bit about me. Yes, I like to call myself a recovering financial advisor because I have moved from the financial services industry. I've been in for almost 25 years. And really just followed a passion of mine, which has been health all the time. I've worked with corporate 401k plans mostly for the last 10, 15 years and did a lot of financial coaching and financial education and sitting down with folks. The biggest thing that I always saw, which was like a stumbling block to really being able to live the retirement years they would like to live. It's not just their wealth, but it's also their health. And being the fact that health was always kind of like it was like my side passion that I always dabbled in. I tried to figure out a way. I'm like, okay, there got to be a way to like marry these together. And I think I figured it out, or at least we're going to give this a shot, right? And so I I went back to school in 2020 to get my certified functional health coaching certification. So I'm also now a national board certified health and wellness coach. I have this thing with having, as my dad says, alphabet soup behind my name. So, all these little acronyms and certifications. But I really wanted to know and make sure I understood what the health world was about because it's, in order to be able to help people, I just want to make sure I had a good, firm understanding because that wasn't the world I grew up in, except for the fact that that's always been a side passion of mine. So anyway, this also was presented too because the fact my husband we found out in 2014, he had a pineal gland cystic mass sitting in the middle of his brain and had brain surgery we were in our mid 40s at the time. Mm-hmm. And so our process of getting ourselves back in shape, because while he was recovering for 3 to 4 months, my back went out on me. I couldn't even lift my legs up to tie my shoes. So we were sitting there in our mid 40s with young kids going, okay, is this it? No, this can't be. So it's also a culmination of just our own journey to get ourselves healthy again and not let the clock stop us from, doing the things that we like to do because we like to be active and looking at it from that perspective, having young kids, Anyway, I want to be there when they have young kids. And if we don't do something about it now, it's like your finance. If you don't do something about it now and continue working, then it's going to be harder and harder the older you get. So
Gotcha.
My passion is to go back and help people, especially around their midlifers when they think it's just age, no, it's not, it can be if you let it be, but that's if you let it be. So
exactly. Uh-huh.
That's where we are now. That's where we're back. That's kind of why I left the financial services industry. I haven't really fully left it, but to really focus in on how do I help people as a wellness advisor instead of a financial advisor.
Gotcha. I mean, that's really a powerful story because most people, I don't think when they're thinking their financial plan, they're really thinking their wellness plan at the same time.
No.
They're,
They're not.
so most people I know, that's just not the case. And I've never even heard a financial planner even tiptoe around that. So I speak to my financial planner. I've never heard her talk about health or wellness or, at this age, how do you think you'll be feeling? Or are you doing things on the wellness side to make it so that you'd really be in a position to enjoy the income and the money that you've created, or that
Yeah.
wealth that you've created? Those just seem like really basic common sense kind of questions. And I just, well, maybe from where I sit as a wellness person,
Right,
but
exactly.
yeah. So I'm like, that just makes sense. Everyone should be asking that as like, hey, like, are you brushing your teeth this morning? Really, a plan is really important. So that's where you got with it. So you wanted to bring the skill set of financial planning to people doing their wellness planning at the same time, like in conjunction with each other? Was that the thought?
No, it's not in conjunction because I will be stepping away completely from the financial side because there is, it's like you need experts in different areas. Like you're not going to go to your general practitioner to have your back popped, right? You're going to have a chiropractor to do that, right? So it's really what I'm doing instead is taking all these years that I've been trained in financial planning and strategizing and bringing that to the wellness side because one of the biggest things I found was when I was interviewing a lot of other wellness coaches and health coaches, there always was, and for good or bad, this is not a judgment. It's just oh, how can we do this differently? It's more, there was always a product they were selling. There was always kind of like, okay, I'm going to move you into this so I can get you into this exercise program or this supplement or this vitamin or this shake or this, I want you to come to our wellness studio so you can do this, all this stuff, which is fantastic. But it's the same kind of conundrum that we had in the financial service industry a long time ago when we went from stockbrokers selling house products to registered investment advisors going out and being like, you know what, I don't want to be tied to the house product. I want to be able to really just fully holistically help people from a whole financial planning perspective. So it doesn't matter what you use. It's just more really working on kind of more of the mental, the behavior, and the really understanding what it is that person is going to use so they will get healthy. So that's why I kind of call it a fiduciary wellness advisor, because we call that a fiduciary advisor in that space.
That's fantastic.
Is that instead, let's take you through a whole planning matrix and really get you to understand a little bit more about what it is you want to do, because people don't want to be told to change, right? You leave their doctor's office and you've got to do, work on your stress or your eating or exercise or whatever to get all those numbers correct. And you're like, yeah, okay, great, fine. But if you actually walk through and really connect with why you want to change, kind of like that change theory type thing, then you are more likely to stick with it. So my goal is to help people really figure that out so that what they decide they want to take on, they take on, and they take on with the full autonomy of the fact that, okay, this is really what I want to do, and I'm not being sold a product. Hopefully that makes sense.
No, that totally makes sense. And it's really refreshing to actually hear someone say it, because I agree with you. The industry has moved to this product kind of wellness delivery system, where you may come for a personal trainer for the training, but in that process, they're incentivized to upsell you the supplements that they're doing or they're promoting, or a whole litany of other products that may not be really great for you.
Right. Oh,
but they're incentivized to sell that to you.
yeah, they are. It's a basic sales model, which again, I don't fault. It's just what it is. But I just kind of thought that I'm like, there's got to be a better and a different way. And then again, of course, too, I was trying to figure out how do I differentiate myself? And that's not only a need, but it's also something I can fulfill.
It's really nice. Excuse me. I have a little bit of a cold.
Oh, go for it.
I I think coughing is contagious. Look at that. Um,
Oh, it is. Well, we just did a race yesterday, so I'm still trying to kind of work through stuff.
oh, that's really kind of cool. We did a breast cancer run yesterday too.
Ah,
So
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my thought? Okay, so I'm excited because you're doing. I've I've moved into the area that you're in for a long time now too.
Hmm.
So I've been in practice for 25 years, and I realized too that I wanted to make sure when supplement companies are coming to me, hey, can you promote this to your people? My thing is, I will provide an opportunity for you to share it because I think it's fair they get to understand all the products that are out there,
Right.
but they don't look to me as a product salesman. They look to me as their wellness support and coach, where my fiduciary responsibility is to them specifically and their needs. It's not another opportunity for me to find another revenue stream.
Right.
That's outside of the scope of what this person deserves from me.
Right.
And I think that's what I've saw so much that I made a really conscientious decision in the very beginning that I won't promote specific products, but I do allow clients, I will share information on a broad range of things that may work for them.
Right. Exactly. And that's the whole point is that we move more into educators and coaches in that respect and connectors in that. Like I said, because there's so much that people can choose to use, but I mean, I think, especially because being a doctor for as long as you have been, the main thing is you just want them to use it. Like, honestly, most of the products, and I'm so sorry, product people, but a lot of them are so similar. They have like a little bit of a thing here, a little bit of and then and that little thing might help that person, which is totally cool. So let's just figure out what is that cool thing that's going to help them so that it hooks them in, and they continue working down that path towards their wellness and health and putting more life into their living, so to speak.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, just moving into that fiduciary wellness. Um, i- is there a concept that I mean you're really doing and you're moving into this space? Um, what's been one of the important factors? I mean, getting people to take this ride with you because now I think clients almost have an expectation that okay, you get them in, and now that sales pitch for something else is definitely going to happen.
Yes.
How do you how do you alleviate that when you're working with them? Do you just go right up front and say, "Hey, wait, this is how we're going to do it," you know, right from the very beginning?
Pretty
This is
much.
our relationship.
Yeah, this is our relationship. And the thing too that when I'm about ready to, oh, you okay?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, I'm working on. I'll be launching my 8-week program, and I'll be educating people about it now. And the my biggest thing is like, please don't buy the the day you see this or the day you watch it. I want you to sleep on it. I want you to think about it because it's creating that time and that space from the sales pitch to actually pulling the trigger and buying something. Because how many times have people heard that sales pitch? And of course, the sales pitch is supposed to be really good, y'all. It's supposed to get you in there and be like, oh yeah, this is so awesome. I got to do this, right? That's what the whole point of the sales pitch is, that they catch you on that emotion, and then you go back, you leave, you go through your day, then you go to sleep, and then at night you're up going, oh crap, I really don't have the money for that, or I don't have the time for it, or I don't have all this other kind of stuff, and you really just found that you just purchased on emotion, which again, that's just kind of how that's how sales and marketing is. It's just kind of how it is. So I'm trying to what I want to teach people is create that barrier and the filter, and just take a stop, take the information in, be like, figure out, how will this fit in my life? Will this fit in my life right now? Is this something I really want to do? is this a product that's really going to help me? So when I work through people, I work with them to create this filter. So you really ask yourself a few more questions before you pull the trigger, because I am coming at it from a budgetary standpoint as well, too. The whole point is that the market, I read the global, I think it's the Global Wellness Institute. They predict that the health and wellness market is going to grow to a $7 trillion industry by the year 2025. That's like right around the corner. And it's at about $4.55 trillion right now. And the obesity industry, just selling obesity drugs, is going to grow to over 300 billion by the year 2030. So think about that for a minute. If you put your financial cap on, what's going on? Where are they going to get that money? From all of us as consumers. So, and it's going to be, and they're going to be pulling on your heartstrings, and they're going to be marketing the heck out of it to get you to use these things. So part of my goal with folks is to be like, okay, put your brakes on, because it's going to be really easy to get sucked into these marketing and sales techniques, because again, that's what they're there for. Instead, let's just stop, take the filter, and figure out what is really going to fit in your life and what it is you're really needing to do right now. And work through that. So you make a better decision with your money. And especially as we're in this kind of recessionary environment as well. So my financial cap will never go away.
It's kind of neat. So as you've worked with people and you're helping them to discover really what they really want,
Mm-hmm.
have you found that they really innately know what they really, really want and need? And if they innately do, then why haven't they already done it?
So there's a lot with that, really. Like, oh my God, we could probably spend like hours on that one. But in general, a lot of it, there's a lot of barriers. There's a lot of obstacles that people have in their life. And it could be, it could be money, it could be time, it could be just fear. I can't, go into it. I've tried it. They could be demoralized with all of these things that they've tried before. Like we've got the diet roller coaster. People go on the same debt roller coaster. Like it's going back and forth. So there could be a whole number of things going on. And that's part of what I work through with the wellness program or the wellness plan, is to just really kind of help you figure out what are your barriers, what are your obstacles? Because of course that's kind of a big thing in my life, because I wrote a book about it. So, that's it. And it's really helping you work through some of those, that mental gymnastics, so to speak, that holds you back, and really identify what it is. And what a lot of people find out sometimes too is that, well, yeah, I know I need to work on maybe I need to work on my diet, but I'm more interested in working on moving my body first. So it's figure out, what do they really want to work on first? And I'm like, all right, well, let's grab that then. Let's work on that first, or maybe managing my stress first. Because if you think about change theory, one of the biggest things, if you get people to at least change one thing, they're more than likely, I think it's like 2 or 3 times more likely to change another. So it's just trying to help them capture, what are they ready to move on? And then work through a plan. And I have a 90-day plan at the end of the program that helps them work through what they've identified they want to work on.
Interesting. And when it comes to the financial objection that most wellness people hear from clients and patients, they're okay if their insurance company is paying thousands, but they're not willing to pay hundreds.
Right.
But they'll pay, if they're in a situation and they just happen to have hundreds of dollars of a copay for a manageable disease that they could have avoided in the first place, well, they're okay with that too.
It's moving from that, sick care model, which we talk about, right, to a preventative care model. And just, we're finicky little things out there, I mean, we got a lot of thick heads, and very stubborn in making any change in our own little environment. So it's just trying to help people figure out what they really are looking forward to change. Because when they figure out what they're really wanting to, what they value that is, then the value to spend that money makes sense. But first they've got to connect with that. And it helps that I do understand HSA models, health savings accounts. I understand
Yes, so we were in the middle of a thought and we kind of lost our connection for a little bit there. And my question was, I have two final questions, okay? So one, what would cue someone in that they really should investigate having a strategic wellness partnership with a coach that can help them? What would be a sign that they can look for in their lives to, you know, let them know, oh, be that little bell or that little thing to have them explore a little bit deeper into what they're doing with their wellness plan?
That's a great question. Really, the folks that I tend to see that come to me are the ones who I joke to say they're on the struggle bus. They can't quite figure out like nothing's working. It's really, it just, they want to feel better. They want to get their health, but there's just everything they seem to try just doesn't really work for them. And again, that could be for a number of reasons, but if you're kind of what I say on the struggle bus, then this is a great place. Let's start here and let's kind of figure that one out. Folks that are really looking for a longevity mindset, when we're really trying to work through and say, again, I'm focused on helping people live longer and put more life in their living and live and feel better and be able to do the things with their kids and their family and the stuff that they want to do. And, use the money that they have accumulated in a great way instead of having to throw it down the healthcare pipe. So, those that really want to say, I want something better for my longevity. And I know there's a lot of areas I can go into, and that can almost be overwhelmed. So I was also talking about people who just feel overwhelmed with all the stuff they want to do and they just have no idea where to start, so they don't start. And then probably the other joke around about people who are just tired of being sold to. People that just like, okay, really, seriously, I just let me be in control of my finances instead of my emotions being in control of my finances when it comes to purchasing their wellness paraphernalia.
That is an excellent point. Thank you, Kelly, for coming and sharing this information with us. I look forward to having you come back because there's a lot of stuff I believe we scratched the surface on that people would really appreciate hearing a little more about in depth. And so how can people reach you? How can people find out more about what you're doing and potentially work with you?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. So, of course, we all have websites, right? So you can find me at kellymajdan.com, and that's Majdan and Kelly with a Y. So kellymajdan.com. And you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook at Power Through Wellness. It's my company's name is Power Through Wellness because I want you to take your power back. And then on LinkedIn, you can follow Power Through Wellness on LinkedIn plus my personal page, Kelly Majdan. I don't do a lot on my personal page on Instagram and Facebook, but I will a little bit more on LinkedIn.
Nice. Hey, thanks again, Kelly. Have a great day. And thank you for listening. We really appreciate you, exploring other things that you can do to improve your wellness. And that's what we do here. We want to provide information from how can I say this? From new thoughts about wellness that we want to bring in and old thoughts that we just want to reshare because sometimes we forget the stuff that we already know. So it's great to be reminded. And so thank you, Kelly. We will be at your website. And if you missed anything that Kelly said, you can go to the show notes and you'll be able to find Kelly's website there and contact information. Kelly, you've written several books.
One book.
One book. Okay.
One. That's okay.
But we know there are more in the works.
There are more in the works. So eventually there'll be several, but right now it's just one.
Okay. So you have one book and there's going to be more. And would you like to offer listeners anything?
Sure. So just the book I wrote is Lessons from the Obstacle Course. 5 strategies to conquer the muddy fields of life. Kind of chronicles our journey and obstacle courses. In fact, I just did one this weekend. I keep putting my arm down. I'm like, oh, I got a bruise there. But And so you can get on my website, I have a couple of freebies. That one is to just help you start with this, the wellness, what I call your wellness foundation, your strategy foundation on that. And then also questions that go along with the book. So if you happen to buy the book, there's a quick little guide that you can do that to walk through the questions that are in the book, because it should get your mind thinking too. And then, of course, if you happen to want to join one of our 8-week programs, just let me know where you heard me from on Max's show, Dr. Fitness, and you can get 20% off the next course.
Nice. Hey, thanks again. Have a great day. And thanks for listening to Your Health Moment.